Howdy, everybody. It's Thursday. It's Jim. It's Amadeus. And, we're here to talk with you. Now, Amadeus, you and I talked the other day about this PGA championship that's being played at Valhalla in Louisville, Kentucky. And, you know, we mentioned there are a couple of different guys that up there. Right now, at the top of the leaderboard is Xander's. Xander's at the top, and we've got a pretty interesting leaderboard. We were going over it in the pre-show. Why don't you, give us your thoughts so far?
Yeah, definitely. Scheifele's a guy like Scheffler, where he's you don't see him in the top three, but he's there in every tournament. Usually like a plus 1,200, plus 1,500, something like that, right? Like a four to eight guy in the odds. And look at him. He's come out on fire today. 9 under to start the tournament on the first day. So good on him. But there's some other names up here in the top 5 that we haven't seen in a while. Obviously, Rory. There's a lot of hype around Rory. He's at third at 5 under, but ahead of him we got Tony Finau. It feels like he's disappeared over the last few tournaments, so he's having a good day at 6 under. And then tied with McIlroy in third. There we got the Scottish guy McIntyre there, and the young stud Thigala there, who a lot of people high on this kid. So I've seen him have some good finishes. Haven't really seen him, win that big tournament, but I've seen him come close a few times in some of these things.
Well, and we even have Brooks in the mix. Brooks Koepka guys at 4 under, and so there's talent there. Surprisingly, and Tiger, by the way, for those who are Tiger fans, was shot a 1 over 72, which got him right now as we speak. He would be 10 strokes off the pace the Scheffler is putting up there. Scheffler put up a 62 on that course. And here's what's impressive to me on that 62 is, and I know, it is not easy to play early morning golf because the course is still a little wet from the dew. And, the ball doesn't necessarily travel as far as it will in the afternoon when there's some heat, to get things going. So, that makes that 62 even more impressive.
Yeah, especially on a longer course. As you said, the ball in the morning, it's going to pick up more moisture while it's flying through the air. And even when, it hits the fairway, you're not going to get the same kind of roll that you would get on the dry afternoon fairway. So definitely, on a longer course like that, playing at a bit of a disadvantage in the morning, and very impressive 62 from Xander there. So we'll see if it holds up. I mentioned in the pre-show he's on pace for 36 under, but obviously he's not going to go 9 under all 4 days, or else that would be a hell of a tournament.
That would. I think everybody just lay their clubs down and leave. It would be amazing. I'll tell you what, if you told Royal McIlroy that I'll give you, before you even start, I'll give you 5 under, and if you'll take 5 under and take the day off, I think Rory would have taken the day off.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think he's in a great spot there. Obviously, not everybody's going to be Xander there with the 9 under, but most of the rest of the field there is right at the 4 under mark. So I think he's in a great position. Like I said, it's going to be hard to replicate that 9 under tomorrow. All you need is Scheffler to make a few mistakes, and you're right there in striking distance. You still got 3 days left. So, 100%. I think 5 under is exactly where you want to be right now after the first day.
And, usually we mentioned this yesterday. Usually the PGA courses in Valhalla is famous for it. It's a tough course, but to go out there and smoke it within the 62, that's something that's pretty amazing. But it's also, and I agree with you on this, it's very unlikely that he's going to, replicate that. And if he could just, from now on, though, I mean, if you shoot that 62, if you just keep under par from this point forward. He's got a pretty good shot. So we'll
Yeah,
see how
100%.
that.
If he does like 5 under a day, then he probably wins the tournament for sure.
Right. But that's easier said than done. No question about that. All right, let's have some fun with the National Football League. Okay, we all know that the National Football League decided last night to put out their schedules. A lot of leaks in the office over there. I don't know if Roger Goodell is running around with a bunch of money today, putting things, trying to block the leaks in the building. But we now have an idea because we've got the schedules. Who's playing who? Irony. The funny thing to me, anyway, is that Andy Reid and his Chiefs will play on every day of the week for the first time. I'm sorry, with the exception of Tuesday, for the first time in NFL history. So there's something for you. And here's the fun fact. Jim Harbaugh and his Chargers will, this year, log more air miles than any team in NFL history. They will be on the road for 26,922 air miles this year.
Wow. Well, that's what
That's
happens.
long flights.
Obviously, with the Chiefs, that's going to happen because you're the defending champions. You got to do the rounds. You're going to get put through the ringer. But hey, I mean, Harbaugh's the shiny new toy, so they're going to put him through the ringer this year too. You're going to play. You're going to play in every country we have penciled in for international games.
Exactly.
Right? Get it done.
If it was college, I'd say they're everybody's homecoming team. Because you always want to beat the team on homecoming, as your alumni's there. You want them to feel good, want them to open those checkbooks and throw out some cash. And so everybody's homecoming team this year seems to be the Chargers. So there you go. Our buddies at Yahoo Sports put together a list of the top 10 regular season games. And obviously this is based on what the rosters are now and not what the rosters may be. And so we thought that'd be kind of fun to take a look at it. Now, in the number 10 slot, as we go 10 down to 1, it's actually a tie. And that is week 2, the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Denver Broncos. There's early season drama here. We're going to assume that the Steelers starting quarterback is Russell Wilson. So Russell would have an opportunity, if this indeed plays out, to kind of say hello to Sean Payton and his former team, who pretty much gave up on him, at the end of the season last year. So Russ and the Steelers make the trip to Mile High, on week 2. So we'll just see how, that plays out from that standpoint. I'll tell you one thing. I'm sure Sean is not going to want to lose to Russ. Not that he wants to lose to anybody, but if there's one name out there that he's thinking, I got to win this game. Ironically, Pittsburgh and Denver don't play each other that often. So I'm quite certain, there's no rivalry there. So I'm sure that Sean's going to go, he's going to have to sit down and say, okay, boys, this game, we desperately want to win this game, not just because we want to win games, but, if Russ gets the last word on him, that'd be too much.
Especially at home with the little altitude advantage they have there.
Right.
Can't be losing that one.
Well, and the other thing is we don't know yet, but I think it's fair to assume that Bo Nix will start for the Broncos. And that'll only be his second game.
I think that's a really good possibility. I mean, who else are they going to throw out there? So it's been such a carousel with the quarterback position in Denver the last few years.
Yeah, and he'll get a chance to meet guys like TJ Watt up close and personal, get their autograph if he wants. Minka Fitzpatrick on the backside. So yeah, Bo, we both love Bo. All right. We're not throwing shade on Bo, but he's a rookie and, playing for the Denver Broncos. There is a little bit of an interesting thing. The ball does travel further, obviously, in the altitude in Denver. That does have a tendency to freak out some quarterbacks who, they know their arm strength, right? So you got a guy, you're going to see guys on the opposing team whenever they go to Denver. Watch for deep passes because they're always overthrowing the guys because they, it's like throwing a fastball if you're a baseball player. You get your arm angle, what kind of torque you got to put on it to get it to where you want to go. And because the air is thin up there, the ball flies really well. So keep an eye out for Bo Nix getting some interceptions in that one. Week 14 is our other number 10 game. And this is the Atlanta Falcons and the Minnesota Vikings. So, okay, we get it again. Kirk Cousins potentially would be visiting his old stomping grounds up in Minnesota. That would be another tie game for Week 10. That's the Falcons at Minnesota. And Minnesota would have their quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, on full display at that point in time.
I know we're only on number 10 here, but it seems more like we're not going so much based on rosters, but so much based on drama. This seems more of like a top 10 drama list for the games.
Yeah, this is the Schadenfreude. You definitely want somebody to screw up. Now, number 9 on the list is a game which I'm not sure I would even watch. But and I'm a Washington Commanders fan from time to time. The Chicago Bears at the Washington Commanders, and the rationale here is you got the first 2 quarterbacks in the draft picked. You got Caleb, of course, going for the Bears, and then you've got Jaden Daniels for the Commanders. That's a Week 8 game, and that's their number 9 pick. It's not 2 teams you're probably likely to see in the playoffs, but it is kind of a way to take a look at, Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels and the future of 2 quarterbacks who are hopefully for their teams going to be there for a very long time.
Jim, I find that very disrespectful. Why would you not want to watch this game? We're talking about a 9-win Chicago Bears team here. You don't want to watch.
I apologize.
Chicago Bears team.
My apologies. Please, I beg your forgiveness on this. Let's just say this: when it came out on the schedule, right? I wasn't necessarily rushing for the tickets that I have for the games here. So I'm like, that one I might give tickets to, but you'll see. Anyway, number 8, the Baltimore Ravens travel to the Chargers. That's the Week 12 game, and that's what they're calling. You remember the Harbaugh boys met in the Super Bowl. We all know that. And so this is another chance for what is commonly called the Harbaugh. HARBOWL. So Jim and John face off again. Last time they played this, it was in Super Bowl, as we said before. Jim is back in the NFL, and he gets a pretty tough test. This is a Monday Night Football game, by the way. So it's a Monday Night Football game, and it is the Baltimore Ravens and the Chargers, Week 12. That's your number 8 game. Number 7. In Sao Paulo, Brazil, Week 1, the Green Bay Packers, Philadelphia Eagles. It'll be interesting to see how the Eagles play and Green Bay play. Because if you remember, when last we left the Philadelphia Eagles, they slid into the playoffs after starting really well and didn't last long in the playoffs. So we're going to have to see what Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia is like. And conversely, the Green Bay Packers were playing really, really well. Jordan Love had what might be considered a breakout season with Green Bay. Now, I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, you and I were not Green Bay fans last year.
Yeah, I'm a certified Jordan Love hater, so you can slap Caleb Williams on that one too as well, I guess.
It's a long bumper sticker at this point. Yes, getting there. Now they're playing in South America. It's a Friday game, opening week. It's the first NFL opening week since 1970 where they've had a Friday night opening game. And, so we'll see. I mean, it's an interesting one. Week 6.
I was going to say, too, they have to have it on the Friday because, Sao Paulo, Brazil, right? Mm-hmm. That time of year, we're getting down to the end of the Brasileirão. Can't be taking up those Saturday, Sunday slots when we got Flamengo and Palmeiras and teams like that going. Can't be doing that.
No, you don't want that to happen. All right, number 6 on the list is also in week 6. So there's your lottery numbers. Detroit Lions, Dallas Cowboys. Now, that doesn't sound like a bad game to me. I mean, those are 2 playoff teams from last year, and we'll see how it plays out. But the Lions and the Bears. I'm sorry, the Lions and the Cowboys. Week 6 sounds like a pretty good game to me.
Yeah, it's interesting just because who's going to be quarterback for Dallas. I guess we'll find out. We're sticking with Dak for another year.
Let's get into the Wayback Machine and go back to last season. Okay. There was a game played between these 2 teams in the regular season that you and I swear we just were like, when the first moment we talked the next show, the first thing out of your mouth was the same thing that I was going to say. This is the game where Detroit had a chance to win or tie, and go in overtime. But they went for the 2-point conversion, which was called back on a penalty. They then are now further away from the goal, and they still tried for the conversion. You'll remember there was a penalty on it, moved them up again. This time, they went back and tried for a third time and didn't tie the game and lost the game. So I when I saw this, pop up on the schedule, I thought, oh, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. This time, last time was in Detroit, and now this time they're going to play. This round of it is going to be in at Jerryville down in Dallas. But it brought back those memories of the first thing out of your mouth is, what the hell were they thinking? And I echoed that theory as well. It just didn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, definitely. Typical Dan Campbell move for that one. But they're going to be getting a very different Dallas team. Like I said, who knows if Dak makes it to the first game of the season as the starter. And, hey, Dan Quinn's not there as your defensive guy anymore. So instead he's up in your neck of the woods there with the Commanders. So it's going to be a different Dallas team we see this year for sure. That's going to be an interesting division just from what we saw with the Eagles last year. And then the Giants are just in their own category.
Actually, I saw one of the Giants linebackers whose mom lives here in the same place that I do. And I was talking to him about, I will not divulge his name for fear of him chasing me down and otherwise Giant fans getting on my back. But he was talking about he's looking forward to getting a lot of play because he thinks the defense is going to be on the field a lot with the Giants this year.
You know what? I like that.
I can't argue with him. I can't argue with him.
That's a half glass full way to look at it.
That's
Hey,
right.
I'm getting a ton of playing time. I'm going to be out there 40 of the 60 minutes. I'm loving this. All right. Guys are going to know my name.
That's right. You're gonna see that number flash a lot.
I like that. I like that mentality.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he's been this is his third year in the league. Okay. And obviously when you're your first year in the league and, the Giants had some linebackers that they felt comfortable with. And so, he got a lot of special teams play, and he also got a lot of, special, special defensive situations, or he'd just spell, a guy for a couple of plays or something like that. But, some of those linebackers left, and so he's kind of eked his way up the depth chart now. And so he will be one of the starting linebackers this year, and he feels comfortable to say that they're going to get a lot of time to play. So we'll see. All right, number 5. This is a week 1 game, and it's the Jets and the 49ers. And you have to wonder if this is not a game where they're thinking, okay, we didn't nationally televised game last year. What are the chances of Aaron Rodgers flaming out 2 years in a row? Probably not. I'm saying that the Jets and the 49ers is probably a situation where the league wants to see if Aaron Rodgers can get through one game without getting hurt right off the bat. The Jets travel to play that game in the Bay Area, and that doesn't bode well. And as we know, Aaron Rodgers is going to go up against a pretty darn good defense in the 49ers. So it's going to be it'll be an interesting test for Aaron to play. We'll see how his Achilles plays.
That's one way to look at it, where, is he going to make it past the 49ers defense? But the way I saw that right away when I saw that was the schedule, that's the Monday night game in the first week there. Right away, I saw that game and I go, man, the league must hate Aaron Rodgers because the 49ers own his ass, specifically in the playoffs, going back to the Green Bay days. And what do they say? You missed the whole season. First game back, we're going to give you the team that you probably hate with a burning passion the most in this league.
Yeah, and enjoy. It's like, okay. Number 4 on the hit parade. This one has potential of being a really good game. Buffalo and the Houston Texans. That's a week 5 game. That's number 4 on our list. You might remember that Stefan Diggs used to play for the Buffalo Bills. He doesn't any longer. And I think we know where he does play. He plays in Houston. So interesting choice of that game. And I don't know. Let me ask you this. C.J. Stroud had a historic rookie season. Do you see C.J. Stroud doing as well as last year? And I don't think, it's unfair to think that you could have a year like C.J. Stroud had 2 times in a row. But I don't think he's going to regress given the way he plays. He plays within himself. I don't know. But C.J. Stroud is kind of a wild card this year. Because, we've seen it before. We've seen, fantastic quarterbacks who come into the league, play really well their first year, things go well, but all of a sudden, that year or 2 they catch up with you. I don't think Stefan Diggs is one of those guys who's going to get mired in a mess after the season that he had last year.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be bad, but I do think he's in line for some regression. If you look at the way he played last year, a lot of his success came with, at the beginning of the season, he had that streak where he threw like 180 passes without throwing an interception. That's going to swing the other way at some point, and especially in year 2, where now you've had a whole season of tape to watch him and study him. I think defenses are going to understand his tendencies a bit better. So I do think CJ Stroud is in line for a bit of regression. And I also think the season he had last year is a big reason why we see the Bears win total at 9. They think, obviously there's a path for Caleb to do it, because the Bears they didn't get the number 1 pick because they were the worst team in the NFL. They had pieces there. They got the number 1 pick because Carolina was the worst team in the NFL, and they had their pick. So it's one of those things where, like, I understand the 9 because the way they're looking at it is CJ Stroud did it last year, and obviously you got some pieces. That Bears defense we've talked about. They were picking up guys from the Commanders last year, and so there are some pieces there. If Caleb does play well, as good as he's supposed to be, then I'm sure they could win 9-win games. But there's just there's factors. They're playing games across in England. That's 3 games you got to look at. There's a look ahead spot to the travel to England. Then it's your first time playing in another continent like that, and then the first game back too, how he's going to react to that. So that's like 3 games of the season where, those could all be losses, right? So there's 3 games gone already that you're not winning. So it's just one of those things. And also, not everybody's CJ Stroud the same way. Not everybody's Patrick Mahomes. Every year we see 5 quarterbacks taken and barely one makes it out of the fire. So definitely, we'll see what happens. But I think like I said, he's not going to be bad, but I think Stroud is due for some regression for sure.
Well, there's a lot of Lamar Jackson in CJ Stroud, and I think that what we're going to see defensive wise is the defenses are going to realize, okay, we have to spy this guy because we can't afford not to. And I don't know. I think, as you said, there's going to be a tip. When I say that I don't see a big regression, is I don't see him falling off the end of the earth here and having a horrific season. I think that the kid is talented enough that he can learn to adapt. Does that mean he wins as many games? No. It just means that he understands how it is to play in the league, and the league, by the way, adapts to players pretty quickly. So I think you're right on that from that standpoint. Number 3 on the hit parade is the Detroit Lions on the road, San Francisco, week 17. So it's a Monday night game, and these 2 teams have a history. So we will see from that standpoint. Those barring injury, those should be 2 playoff teams again.
Yeah, 100%. Those are that was the NFC Championship last year, so that was definitely the comeback was real in that game. There's going to be some emotion there, so that should be a very good one to watch. I'm assuming the number 1 game on this list is the Ravens Chiefs rematch, but we'll get there. I'm sure it's coming up on the list.
Well, guess what? It's next. It's number 2. The Ravens and Kansas City. It's week 1. It's a phenomenal matchup. This time they're playing at Arrowhead. They're not playing at the Russell Street Coliseum, as it's known here in the Baltimore area. So, what are you going to say? You got Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes. Do you need to say anything else? Except Derrick Henry is now. Yeah.
Yeah, and this time we're going to have Sean Smith there. So, we're going to get to see the game play out the way the game plays out.
Right. And if we recall that the last time they played, it was a very cold rainstorm in Baltimore for that game. And it was Taylor Swift was in the crowd, and it was a happening. And Baltimore obviously fell by the wayside against a Chiefs team that and you hit it on the head last year. Defensively, the Chiefs were better than people gave them credit for, and that's what
Yeah,
helped them win that game against the Ravens.
yeah, absolutely. That was the strength of the team.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. Number one, Super Bowl rematch. Kansas City Chiefs, San Francisco 49ers. And it's week 7. So, you know, both of them, both Kansas City and San Francisco, have played, well over the last few seasons. There's no reason to believe that they're not going to be a decent, team to look out for as we get ready for the season here.
Definitely two of the best teams in the NFL, and the Chiefs should
Mm-hmm.
be, better this year because last year was technically their retooling year. Now they're gonna have the pieces, but we'll see if they win it again.
Well, it's not going to be easy, regardless of how that plays out. And so there you go. Uh, let's get ready for tomorrow. We're going to have a Friday. It's a Preakness week. And that's kind of flying under the radar this week that the Preakness is running at Old Hilltop, which is where they call you know, the, uh, the Preakness is raced over on the hilltop at Pimlico Raceway in Baltimore. So interesting. The second round, the second leg of the Triple Crown is going to be there. The third leg of the Triple Crown, by the way, this year and for the next 2 years in a row, is going to be raced at Saratoga, which is gorgeous. That is an absolutely gorgeous place to go. It's upstate New York. I'm not a big race fan. I'm not even horse tracks have never done anything for me. But Saratoga is such it's just a gorgeous place to be, and you know, it's one of those things where you don't even mind a little bit if you lose money if you go to Saratoga. It's just that nice. So we'll have that coming down for you tomorrow. Let's see what else. We'll probably talk a little bit about uh, the weekend of. Obviously, there's going to be some good soccer being played, and we'll get to that, and we'll take a look and see how by that time we should be getting ready for a Knicks Pacers game, perhaps even Game 7 at that point. So that'll be an interesting thing. I'll tell you what, New York is totally on its ear for the Knicks. I mean, I haven't seen New York this excited since back in the '90s when Patrick and the guys were there. They are just geeked out entirely about this Knicks team, and we know who they're going to play. It's going to be the Knicks if that's how things play out. The Pacers, because this is a situation where both teams have won their home games. Have to see how it works out, but. There's plenty of stuff to look out for this weekend is what I'm trying to get at here.
Yeah, always tons of action in every sport, really. I mean, it's all coming to an end soon, so now's the time to get it all in.
Yeah, that's true. All right, man. Tell you what, Caitlin Collins tonight. If you're a Caitlin Collins fan, on Prime Video tonight. Caitlin Collins and the Fever. Meanwhile, speaking of fever. A guy who's hot without having a fever is no one other than Amedeus. Tell us about your picks coming up here in the show box below.
Yeah, make sure you check out my premium picks at bigal.com, pickadvisor.com, and theinsidersroom.com. The links in the description below. Not coming off a great day, but ready to bounce back today. Lots of action on the pitch. I mean, some of it's gone already, but I have some afternoon action in South America on the pitch with Copa Libertadores and Copa Sudamericana. I got a Liga MX play in the playoffs that you can go get, and I also got some NBA action up tonight. I won my play with the Cavaliers last night, and I'm on a 2-0 NBA run, so make sure you check that out.
There you go. All right, everybody. Have a great day, and we will be seeing you tomorrow. Be sure again, no matter when we're on, or if you see us on replay, always go down to the show box. Always check on Amadeus's picks. You don't have to. We don't have to be on the air for you to do it, but by all means, we want you to. So go down there, check it out, and have some fun. All right. Show us your winning tickets. That's always fun. Show us what's going on. All right. Do us a favor, subscribe, like, and hit that bell so that every time we're on, you have an opportunity to see us. Okay. We greatly appreciate it. For Amadeus, I'm Jim. Have a nice day.